So we're going to jump back into the testimony of Richard Morgan KC to the Post Office Horizon IT inquiry, and the review in the transcript from the court, and the barrister, Richard Morgan KC, casts some doubt on the court transcript because of the fact it's been produced by Mr. Castleton's solicitors from the original tape recording that they've managed to obtain. He does in the end agree to discuss it, but he does seem to have a fair amount of suspicion over the document, despite it being a transcript of the opening of his court case. Let's jump into the inquiry.
Can we lastly on this subtopic look please at LCAS 40197. This is a typed copy of a recording of, amongst other things, I think your opening of the case on the 6th of December 2006. And if we could turn please to pages 14 and then 15 please, starting at 14.
Do we know who the author of this document was?
I believe from the designation it's Mr. Castleton's solicitors, i.e. LCAS, means Lee Castleton. To the unique reference number I called out. But I can check that if we take a break, or when we take a break in the afternoon. Are you quizzical?
Well, I just didn't understand Mr. Castleton to have solicitors instructed, and it's normally...
No, now.
Oh, right.
He's got solicitors in this inquiry who have obtained a copy of the recording and have had it transcribed.
I see. Not by an official transcriber, though.
Is there a point on that?
No, it's just normally I would trust Smith Burnell as being an authorised transcriber, whereas I just don't know what this document... I have no idea. It's just a piece of paper that purports to record what's stated, and I just wondered what the provenance of the document was, that's all.
Shall we look at the...
Well, that's a fair point, but at the end of the day, it's been produced by solicitors that he's got now. I mean, you want us to trust you as a KC, don't you? I mean, are we trying to say solicitors would be untrustworthy? It would be very bold of any solicitor. I would suggest in any case, although I'm starting to doubt it a bit, but it would be, I'm doubting in the case of the post office anyway. But, I mean, what we're trying to suggest, that a solicitor might submit false evidence to an inquiry. They could go back and listen to the tape, but anyway, it seems like he just wants to pick a hole in it.
The piece of paper.
By all means.
Page 14. In fact, to give you some context, we should start at 13. And just under I'm grateful 2338, you are...
Sorry, I'm not sure I'm there.
Yeah, so 7...
I've got it, yes, I've got it, thank you.
Yeah. You're recorded as saying, no, of course. For the assistant, perhaps, of Mr. Castleton, what I was trying to do for the court is, the judge said, is give me background. A very general background, as a gentler introduction at this stage as I can. Then I propose to address your lordship very briefly on one point of view that arises on the burden of proof. Judge, yes. And then even if I'm right on that issue of burden of proof, it might be of assistance to the court and Mr. Castleton if I complete a comprehensive opening so that the court has presented to it in as neutral a way as possible. Answer, yes. The primary documents, yes, there will come a point at which I'll make some submissions as to my primary case. But I hope that will be of help to Mr. Castleton to relieve him of any burdening of opening the case. Yes, quite. And also provide a balanced view of the primary documents before I make some submissions as to why we're bound to win. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. But hopefully that's of assistance to Mr. Castleton.
That seems a bit of a cheeky statement to make. Yeah, by the way, I'll help you out, Mr. Castleton, because you've not got a lawyer. I'll present it in as neutral way as possible, because he's being totally neutral up till now, that we can see in the documentation we've already looked at. But anyway, then I'll make some points that will win. I mean, that's brazen, isn't it?
And then over the page, Judge says the biggest issue in this case seems to be whether the computer is working properly, isn't it? And you say, well, that's how Mr. Castleton would like to portray it. Judge said, yes. You say it's a matter that your lordship may have to consider. Yes, but I'd invite your lordship to listen to my opening and understand. The facts, much like a pocket calculator, a computer is only a tool that reflects the information that's entered onto it. And the way the system is meant to work is that Mr. Castleton is meant to check the underlying physical transactions against what's shown on the printout. He says, I see, I'll leave it to you to explain that in due course. And then you say, and your lordship in fact touches the core of this question, the core of this trial, and that this is about a trial about an account product produced by an agent, which is verified by him, or is this a trial which is a rampage through how a computer system works, and whether this is whether Mr. Castleton can say that the computer has anything to do with this trial at all.
He's pouring a lot of scorn on the fact that there might be horizon issues. I mean, there's one thing trying to avoid it to make a nice legal point in your case. There's another thing trying to suggest that people would almost be a bit silly to consider that the computer system, the horizon system, which we now know with hindsight has had a massive effect on it, couldn't possibly have had an effect, even though privately he said, I'm not sure we can actually prove. It might be impossible to prove horizons working correctly.
Judge, when you say it's an account and there's an unclear passage, which it may well be, but it's still open to Mr. Castleton to say that the account is wrong. You say it's still open to Mr. Castleton to say the account is wrong in certain limited respects. Judge, if the computer's wrong, if it can be shown that the computer's wrong, you say if he could show, just go back please. If he could show the computer were wrong, yes. You say in my respectful submission, he could only do that by producing physical evidence as to why it's wrong. And that
would only be available from Fujitsu and the post office, wouldn't it?
Going to be the nub of the dispute. And so this is the first time that we see the strategy of relying upon the vouchsafing of the physical cash account being deployed at the trial, I think.
Being deployed at the trial, yes.
Yes.
It was deployed in the amended statement, particulars of claim.
Yes, yes. I meant orally at opening. And so was the trial about whether the Horizon produced documents included accurate cash accounts?
No. Well, not as far as I understood it. The trial, or the claim, was based upon Mr. Castleton's signed statements of account.
And where had those documents all come from?
Mr. Castleton.
No, where had the documents that he signed, where had they come from?
I don't know.
What had produced them? A computer?
Thinking back all of these years, some of them may have been produced by a computer, some of them may have been produced by one of those sort of typing calculators, some of them may have been produced purely in manuscript. I think the lists of amounts of cash by denomination were manuscript.
But
Are we finally going to agree that a document produced by Horizon is a Horizon-produced document, whether it's been verified, whether it's been danced with, put in a folder? It seems like he's still not comfortable admitting that point.
I'm so sorry, the end-of-week cash accounts, which was the principal document that you relied upon as the agent's account.
Yes.
They were produced by Horizon, weren't they?
They may well have been, yes.
And they had...
sorry, I'm not trying to be difficult. I genuinely can't remember. I think they were printed documents, and I think they were signed off by Mr. Castleton.